All right, I wanted to do a video of TOA H100 or TOA hard, specifically showing Sehkmet just being fantastic for the stage. Like, as soon as I pulled Sehkmet, I put her in here and it made it much, much easier. She brings a whole bunch to the table. You know, in this stage, there's a lot of different ways you can do it. I've seen some people use SIG. I've seen some people use Spectra. But you kind of just use what you have, and once you've done it for a while, like I've done this, you know, over a year now, long time it feels like I've been doing this stage, you settle into whatever works. And even if it's not the fastest, it's what you know, and you use it. So Sehkmet's been my bread and butter for this for a long time. So here's what I'm trying to do. My goal is to load up that right crystal with dots from Baretta and TOA while controlling the two attack bars of the boss and that crystal, using TOA to control the attack bars and Baretta if I really need to in a pinch. So what I would like to have happen is I want that thing as loaded up with dots as I can get it, and I want it right about to tick over and give the boss 50% bar when he's already about to get his extra turn anyway. Worst case scenario is it gives him an extra turn, and then he gets another turn right away. Like, I'd like it to be in sync. I don't want him to get double the turns. So I'm trying to control these attack bars. And the way that Sehkmet helps with that is, one, you never have to deal with the boss's second skill, which is so good. That second skill can be a game changer. So you cool him down with her third skill, and she applies pretty much every debuff you would need except slow, and so that's what TOA's there for. So she will give him the heal block, which is super important since he heals every time you hit him. She'll give him the attack break with her first skill, and I think she gives him glance as well. But if not, Chasun also provides a glance. I'm pretty sure she gives him a glance as well. So I'm right about to let this crystal move. It looks about right to me. It's kind of hard to judge sometimes, but look, I actually make a mistake. He goes, and then the crystal goes, which is worst case scenario. So I'm kind of in damage control mode here, trying to get him debuffed up again and deal with this. That was not what I wanted to have happen. It's sometimes really difficult to tell what the syncing is. So I was lucky that I had my Baretta's second skill to completely reset him and kind of start over. So I've let that crystal tick once. I need it to tick 2 other times to let those dots take place and cut its health down. And once that crystal's down, then I can just worry about the boss. I don't have to worry about him getting extra turns from that crystal, since it boosts his attack bar. Whenever it takes a turn, it boosts his attack bar quite a bit. So what I would recommend is always completely debuff the boss whenever you have to deal with him. You don't want to let him sit there without attack break or without glance or any of that. You want to debuff him as much as you can because he hits super hard. He'll get a couple of turns over the course of this match, probably 3 total is what you're shooting for. But really, you're just messing around with that crystal on the right to get it to take its turn, give him his little turn from it, and then have the dots tick because you need those dots to tick. The only kind of bummer with Sehkmet is that she will debuff the crystal as well. So the crystal will get glance and heal block and stuff like that, and you would prefer those to be dots. But that's kind of how it goes if you want to debuff up the boss since it's an AoE. So right now I'm trying to get the crystal not to take its turn. I'm trying to control the crystal's turn. I'm thinking, should I completely reset the turn? But I think I'm okay. Just want to make sure everybody's healed up. I was a little worried going into this that my TOA was too low HP because she's a little bit lower than normal. Sometimes I have to switch out a rune or two for survivability on this stage. Sometimes my Verde is a little too squishy, and I give him an HP rune on slot 6, or my TOA needs an HP rune on slot 6. So if you need to make a change in 1 or 2 slots and for 1 or 2 monsters, just do it. Like, it's worth it. Even it'll make this much less frustrating for, 100,000 mana, something like that. So, all right, I'm just about to let this crystal take its turn. I'd like to debuff up the boss, so I'm trying to slow it down just a little bit. I'm thinking, should I completely reset its turn? It's kind of not what you want to do, but sometimes you got to. If the boss is not debuffed, I don't feel comfortable letting him take a turn, especially with one of my monsters under half health. So we got him on his attack break. We've got him on glance, trying to get slow, and just sort of trying to manage him right now. He's not as bad as Lirith, I don't think, but you can't take him for granted. Even though you've been fighting this guy for forever, many months / years, he can still one-shot if he's not properly kind of controlled or dealt with. As far as healers, I would recommend Chasun almost exclusively because she can heal through the heal block that crystal on the left will put on you sometimes. And also the attack buff is really nice, just to give you a little bit more damage. So almost about ready to let that right crystal take its turn. The boss looks where I want him to be. Now I'm just trying to get the boss behind that crystal bar-wise. And I'm not quite there, unfortunately. So that's my goal. It would be really bad to let him take a turn and then the crystal give him a full turn right away. So giving it sort of the eye test, it looks like the order is right, but you never can really tell because the other bar is so small by comparison. So let's see what happens here. I think I'm going to, just push the bosses back a little bit more. And it works perfectly. So the crystal takes its turn, which would buff up the boss 50%, but he was like 99%, so it gave him 1%. He got his turn. Now I'm going to finish it off. The crystal is right where I want it. It's going to die on its next turn because of all those dots. So all I'm worried about now is managing the boss, getting him right where I want him to be, and then I'll let it set to auto because Hua can control him on her own. So I'm going to speed this up a little bit since I don't think there's much more that's going to happen that needs to be explained. It's just we've gone through the mechanics. It's sort of like getting that crystal down is sort of like clearing the trash in any other stage of TOAH. Once the trash is down, you know, the boss is almost always an auto. Most bosses in TOH you can auto if you bring the right team. So I haven't quite set it to auto yet. I wanted the crystal to go down, making sure I've got the boss right where I want him, and then now I set it to auto. So they're just going to do their thing. The only thing that can go wrong on the final auto is if Verde uses his second skill too often and doesn't get you the turn advantage you need. The other thing that can sometimes happen is Baretta will use his turbulence when it's not perfect and ideal. So I watch it, I monitor it just to be careful. There's actually a point towards the end where it gets out of sync just a little bit and I have to take over and fix it. So we'll see if we can get to that. But it's pretty satisfying with having that heal block up from Sehkmet. I mean, he's just debuffed exactly where you want him. He's not going to get to use his second skill. He's not healing from anything we do to him, which is really nice. And so we're just waiting for it to go down. And that's pretty much TOAH 100. So I'm watching his attack bar the whole time. It's getting a little high, but as long as it's under 50%, I feel like I don't have to step in. I think this is the point. Yeah, look, it's almost about to take a turn. I'm going to slow it down a little bit. So he's about to take a turn. Okay, so I'm like, okay, wait. I step in here. I want to make sure I'm exactly where I need to be to take over here. He takes Verde down really, really far, and now I'm making sure that everything is back where I need it before I let it finish off. Even though he's almost dead, you don't want to have to go through all the trash waves again. So we've got the slow, we've got the defense break, and we've got the heal block. And we're pretty much ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and speed it back up. So it's worth keeping an eye on it to make sure it goes exactly right. And so that's it. That's TOAH 100 with Sehkmet kind of featured. And if you have a Sehkmet, I would heavily recommend using her in TOAH 100. So I'll show you the pull here. It's not terribly exciting, but it's one of the better skill ups. Slow it down. Boom. Lisa. So that's actually one of the skill ups I really need. So that's probably one of the better pulls I could get outside of a new nat 5. So thank you guys for watching. As far as ruining your Sehkmet, I would say fast. Despair is usually a good choice. Violent or Swift can also work depending on where you use her. Mine currently is Despair, right around 230 speed for RTA. So she's highly effective in TOAH as well. So thank you guys for watching. And if you have any questions, please make sure to let me know. And I will catch y'all next time. Take care, guys.